welcome to those of you who are here. We'll just wait a couple of minutes and see if anyone else is going to arrive.
What setting does where do you find the setting that allows you to rotate? Nothing's rotating on my phone. It's really annoying me.
I'm not sure. Can anyone help out?
Hello. Sorry, what's happened?
How to rotate on the. Oh, hold on, I've got more people arriving. I'm not sure.
Depends on what type.
Yeah, I think it depends on
what
you're using.
I think it's at the bottom, isn't it?
Hello,
it
welcome everybody. We'll just
video.
wait 30 more seconds, see if anyone else is arriving, and then we can begin.
There's a video setting. I think that's where you can change the direction. I think.
Oh goodness.
Okay, can everyone hear me okay? Well, I suppose those who can't won't be able to tell me they don't. Okay, so it's going to be recorded, so we'll get started. We'll make this not too long, nice and quick, just half an hour. So to begin with, hi everybody. My name is Laura. So I think lots of you know me already. But for those of you who don't know me, I have been a coach at Vici for about 2 years now. And I'm also, I work as one of the language coordinators in the French office. So I work mainly in France, but obviously as Vici languages, England and in France are both very related. I do work a lot with clients from both countries. So the main thing we're going to do here today is we're going to discuss Lingua attack. So we have more people arriving. So Lingua attack is our self-study platform. So this session really is for those of you who either study with Lingua attack already and would like to learn a little bit more about how do you use it, how is it good, maybe how can you use it to the best of your abilities. And this session is also for anybody who wants to learn a little bit more about Lingua attack. So maybe if you think you might be interested in using it, but you're not exactly sure how it works for now. So today we'll discuss a little bit then what it is. I'll show you a few little examples of how we can use it. And then at the end, we can go through any questions that you have. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat or to write them down somewhere so we can discuss them at the end. So at the end, we'll take general questions that will be useful for everybody. And if you have any more specific questions really about you and how you can use your Lingua attack to the best of your abilities, then I also offer free little consultations with people to discuss exactly how we can use it for you and to show you through any problems that you might have as well. So just to know, you can put questions that we can answer together. Latifa, can you not hear us?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so at the end, we can have some questions for everybody. And then also, if you would like to have a little session just with me as well, we can organize that. We'll put Latifa on mute because she may not be able to hear us, but we can definitely hear her. Okay, so yeah, as I said, any questions, please put them in the chat and we'll go through them afterwards. So the first thing I guess we all want to know is, what is Lingua attack and why do we want to use it? Why am I having a little session here to encourage everyone to really use it? As Natalie said in her message to all of us and on the Facebook groups, and as Natalie has said 100 times before, digital learning really is here to stay. We live in a new digital modern era where we use digital technology every single day for everything in our lives. So why not use it for the best of our abilities to learn as well and to learn a language? So at Vici, we really believe that while digital learning is amazing. Can I just check everyone else, can everyone else hear me, or is it just Latifa who's having it? Yep, okay, good. Latifa, it will be recorded so you can watch it afterwards. So as I was saying, digital learning really is here to stay. At Vici, we know that it does not replace human connection. Human connection is really, really important when we are learning a language. everything that we do with language is about speaking to each other. So while human connection and having that human contact with your language trainer or your coach every week is so important, the digital side of it is important as well. It's what can help you study really regularly. And Lingua Attack, I apologize, Lingua Attack is great as well, because it's something that you can use very regularly from your own home. You can have it as an app on your phone, you can use it on your computer, just really small regular sessions to get you using the language as much as possible and putting yourself really in an environment, a bilingual environment, to use the language as much as possible, to be exposed to the language, to hear it. And for those of you who have worked a little bit with Lingua Attack as well, you'll know that we really focus on authentic videos. So it takes videos, it's not videos that have been created for language learners, they're videos that have been taken from the real world. So it means that they have little scenes from different films, from different series, things like that. And we can see and hear how the language is really, really used in authentic context. So this is kind of why it is so important then why we think it's so important to use digital platforms, and also why we know that it has been shown in so many studies that it is really a really good way to complement your language learning, to be using these different platforms. So we'll begin, we'll have a little look at Lingua Attack. So if I share my screen, and then that way we can have a look at the platform all together. So can everyone see my screen here? Yep. Excellent, good. So let's have a little look at Lingua Attack. So for those of you who aren't aware, this is what Lingua Attack then looks like. So you'll see it's lots of different videos. Sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming when we start, kind of where do we start? So I'm going to talk you through the 4 different types of sessions that you can do on Lingua Attack. So if we go up to the top and we go on to exercises, we have these 4 a few different sessions. We're going to start with something called Starter Labs. So if we click here on Starter Labs, this is a series of videos that are really good for the basics. So for anyone who is either learning a language from scratch, or who just wants to kind of get back into the basics, these Starter Labs really are the way for you to start. So we have 20 different Starter Labs we see, divided up into different themes. So they do go from easiest, working their way up to more difficult things. So the logical way would be to start with number 1 and work your way through these. If you already have very good basics of the language, this isn't where you're going to start, but this really is for people who are just beginning or want to have a better grasp of the basics. So in Starter Labs, we would go into here, and these are little videos that have been created. So earlier I said that in Lingua Attack, we don't have videos that are created for language learning. These Starter Labs are Starter Labs are created for language learning, but it's the other videos afterwards that we get to that are very, very authentic language. So these little videos, you would go through, you'd have a little play of the video, you would watch it through. We have some little people who are having a discussion. And then the idea at the moment is to kind of listen to it without any assistance to begin with. So trying to hear what you see what you can understand, to hear it a little bit. Afterwards, you have a series of tasks that you can do to learn a little bit more about what we've heard. I'll point out as well that this little turtle down here indicates the speed. So you can click on the turtle and put it at a slower speed if you do find it a little bit more challenging. But I would suggest that the first time you listen to it at a normal speed, just to really kind of get an idea of what it is. So afterwards, you'll see we have lots of different games and vocabulary things that we can do. So my Lingua Attack is actually to learn English for French people who are learning English. So I apologize, it is the other way around. For people who are learning French, you would have everything here in French, and then the translation in English would be better for you. Mine is the other way around though, as I teach mainly English to French people. So here we have all of the little expressions that we will have learned during the session. We can click on them, and we can listen and hear what they sound like, and we can have the little translation. So these are the things that you should have heard during the video. When you get to here, if you want, you can go back and listen to the video again. If not, if you think, okay, I've got this, we can continue with some of the different activities that we have. So you see at the bottom here, we have vocabulary, comprehension, dialogue, building sentences, and then word jigsaws. So these are different kind of activities that really are working on different skills within the video as well. So they're very much working on learning vocabulary and building very basic sentences at this point. So if we go through quickly, you can see a few of the different things that we can do. So here we have a transcript. And then here, for example, pleased to meet you. So as I said, mine is for French people learning English. Here you would have it in your target language. We can try and work out which little sentence it corresponds to. So at the moment, this is quite basic, just kind of getting a hang of the language, really an introduction, a starter lab, it's an introduction to the language. As you see, we won't go through them all in detail, but we have lots of different activities that we can do to work out, to kind of start to really consolidate the language that you would have learned. So this is really anyone who's just started the language and they don't know where to start. This is where I would really suggest that you begin, and you can work your way all the way up through the starter labs. Okay, so this is kind of the first part that we have. If we go back onto starter labs here, as I said, you'll see there are 20 of them. So really you can go through these videos, make your way through them. You can jump ahead to different videos. You don't need to do them in the order. If, for example, you are not quite a beginner and that you don't need to start with, I'm Anna, pleased to meet you, but that you're not really that confident either, you can kind of begin where you think you might need to begin and then go back to it. Otherwise, I would suggest that you go through them all, work your way through them, and also revisit them afterwards. Once you've got to lesson 20, then why not go back to some of the lessons you found more challenging? They're here for you to use as many times as needed. So these are the little starter labs. If you have any questions about starter labs, we'll take them at the end when we do all the questions. The next thing that we are going to look at then is the photo vocabulary. So once you've done the starter labs, if you're not sure where to go from here, I would suggest going to photo vocabulary next. So if we have a look, photo vocabulary is very, as it sounds, it is a list, it's a little picture dictionary. So we have different themes that we can look at. Checking into a flight, very useful for those of us who want to go on holiday. At the port, again, very holiday based. We're on conflict a little bit less holiday based, but still quite topical at the moment, unfortunately. And shopping at the mall, there you go, something a little bit more fun. So different things that we can go through, either start with the essentials and work your way through, or simply pick photo vocabulary themes that you find interesting for you, things that you look through, something that catches your eye that you think, oh, actually, I think I would really like to learn about that. Language learning is meant to be fun and personal and for you as well. So if your goal really is just to learn the language because you love the language or you want to travel, then go through and pick what you find interesting. Clothing and fashion, maybe that's something that you really like and you want to go through, whatever is interesting for you, make it interesting for you, and that's how you'll learn better as well. That's how you can really make the most of it. So if we have a quick look, let's do the face. There you go. Let's have a look at this. So we'd go through and we'd look at some of the different activities, the different vocabulary, the different things that we can see. And then afterwards, we have different games as well that we can do. So if I go through here, the first time we just had the words written down without any context, and we can listen to them here. We have some sentences put in context for us as well. And then once you've gone through and you've done the vocabulary, we can look at the games as well. So the games are, they're fun. You might not like all of the games. You can pick the games that you enjoy, the ones that you like to do. And it really is just about consolidating everything that you have learned. So going back through the language. Studies have shown that you need to hear or see the word in approximately 7 different contexts, or 7 different authentic contexts at least, to be able to memorize the word afterwards and to be able to understand it in meaning. So that is why the games maybe might seem a little bit, I know some people have said they find sometimes it's a little bit repetitive doing the same language again and again, but that is how you're going to learn it as well. That is really how you consolidate it into your brain. So if we have a look at some of the little games we have, like I said, you'll have some that you prefer to others. You can go through and skip some of the games if you're not that interested in them, and then the other words you can play as much as you want. So here we have at the top we have the jaw and the forehead. So you see we have to decide if it is correct or not. I think most of us probably speak English here, so we're going to say yes. That's a nice one. So we're going to go through and you can have a play with some of the different games we have, and you can see it really just is about learning vocabulary as much as possible. So these are the photo vocabulary. So as I said for the starter lab, the best thing is to start at the beginning and go through and do all of them. For the photo vocabulary, however, I would suggest you pick some topics that interest you, do some photo vocabularies, and do some of the other tasks as well, some of the other different exercises that we're going to look at, such as video boosters and skill boosters. So for the starter labs, it is a good idea to work your way through them. However, for the rest of them, I think it's good to sort of pick and mix a little bit and go into different ones. Look at some photo vocabularies, look at some video boosters. I think that really is going to be the most interesting for you as a learner to be able to mix it up a little bit, and also what's going to be the most helpful as well. Photo vocabulary is great, but just knowing a list of words is not necessarily what's going to make you a fluent language learner. What's really going to help is looking at the video boosters as well. I love the video boosters. I think these are so good. I think they're such a good idea. They're so interesting. There are so many videos that I dare someone to tell me that they have not found a video that interests them. There are over 2,000 videos, something like that. Like there is just so many videos on so many different topics for you to look at. So what is a video booster? Let's have a look. So video boosters, as I said, there's about 2,000 of them. They are on so many different topics. We have videos grouped here that are about business lounge. So any of you who are learning the language for business purposes, this might be interesting for you. We have movies or films, so loads of different films. If you go through them, I'm sure you'll find something that you recognize, something you've seen, something you want to see. A really good thing here is to, if you're a little bit nervous about using Lingua Attack and listening to actual films, it's just a couple-minute clips, but listening to sort of the authentic language. If you are a little bit nervous about this, or you think that, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be good enough for this, find a video of something that you know already, maybe a film you've seen already or a series that you like. That way you kind of have some context already, and that's really going to help you to be able to contextualize it a little bit more and to feel a little bit more reassured. So we also have TV series. There are so many things, music as well, so different songs you can listen to. The videos you have will depend on the language, obviously, that you're learning. As I said, mine is for French learners of English at the moment, but yours will be a little bit different based on the language that you have. So we get into video boosters. I've said these are great, I love them, but you might be wondering, okay, there are 2,000 of them, where do I begin? That is a very good question. So for video boosters, if you know your level, then this is something that's very helpful. If you don't know your level, then that's something you can speak to your coach about as well. Or speak to people at VT, we'll be able to advise you on that. When I say level, I'm talking about A1, A2, B1, B2. If you aren't familiar with these terms, that is not a problem. Next time you have a session with your coach, you can ask them for advice on what your level is. So you can search here by difficulty level. So we go from A1 is the easiest. So A1 really is the starter labs that we saw. These video boosters go from A2, which is the next level up, to B1, B2, C1 and C2. So these are going up in level. So if you're not sure as well, start with an A2 and see if it's easy or not, work your way up. So as we went on to here, we went to video boosters and we clicked on search by difficulty level. Here you can go down and you can click your difficulty level. You see they go all the way up. So again, maybe I would suggest if you aren't sure that you feel you are a beginner, then you would start with the A2. And then if you know that you have a little bit of a higher level, you would start with the other levels. So let's have a look for A2 videos here. So you see up in the corner, A2 plus, this is how we know the level. So we can go through, maybe is there something that we recognize, something that you would like to watch? This House of Gucci film, I wanted to see this at the cinema, but I did not get there in time. So let's have a little look at the video booster to see what it's about. So you'll see 42 seconds. It's just a really small clip from the film. Here we have, to begin with, we have different vocabulary that we're going to learn. So stuff, allowing, we can click on it to listen to it. Again, as I said, mine is for learners of English, so yours will look a little bit different in that you have it in French. So you have a look first by looking at the different language. So this is to, firstly, I would suggest if you're unfamiliar with the words to listen to them as well, so that you can really start to hear what they sound like. Afterwards, little series the same as before. We're going to watch the video. So just 42 seconds in this case, we're going to watch it through. After, we have a lot of different activities that we can do. So these, to begin with, are very based on comprehension. So this is your real world understanding of the video. And as you'll see, it's not just, for example, what does this word mean? It's really if you've understood the content of the video, if you understand what they're saying. And here as well, any point in the question, in the target language, if you're not sure what it means, we can click on it and we can have a little translation as well, which can be helpful. So as you'll see here, we have little videos. We're going to go through the content, sorry. So this is really about your real world language skills. How well do you understand what is being said? At any point, if you want to as well, we can switch back to the vocabulary. So as you can see, very useful. At the bottom here, again, you'll see we have all of the different stages that we can go through as well. So again, this is really about consolidating the language that you have heard in the video. So the first thing is a few different comprehension questions. We'll go to the listening lab. So this is really focusing on your listening skills, so about how well you can understand the specific language that is being said. So here, for example, who is this stuff? Okay, for us, it's English, so it's easy, but we have to listen really carefully. Are they saying making, faking, taking? So again, partially this is how well do you understand the context, because we can try and kind of work out what words might be correct or not, but also really listening to see if we can hear the different phonemes, so the different sounds of the language. For us, this seems easy because a m, a f, and a t, are very different for us, but depending on the language, different sounds will be very different and very different for you to hear. So it really is working on the pronunciation and the different sounds of the language as well. So a few different exercises on this. Afterwards, we can skip through and look at some of the more advanced comprehension. So these activities, you don't have to do all of them. You can do the ones that you think are interesting, the ones that you think are helpful, and then you don't have to do the rest. You can look at the different vocabulary again, the transcript to really understand what they're saying. Read the transcript, listen to the video again, so you can really hear what's being said. And again, this is more advanced comprehension. So looking really at different ways, looking at different things that they talk about. So here it's saying, why does she point her finger? So this is more than just understanding the language. This is kind of understanding the content of what's happened as well, and the context of it. Afterwards, again, we go through to vocabulary, so looking at the different vocabulary, grammar. So this is really reusing the language from the video again and again and again. And this is so helpful because it's going to help you to contextualize it all. So learning the language in context is the most important and helpful thing. Then afterwards, we have the games. We won't look at these because we don't have that much time left. But again, the games are very similar to what we've done before, going through working with the language again and again. In terms of the video boosters as well, so I said that we could look at them through difficulty level. Let's say you've just had a class with your coach and they have been talking to you about adjective order today, or about making comparatives in adjectives. And you think, okay, that was a really good class. Maybe I should revise that a little bit more because I think I understood it, but I wasn't maybe like 100% sure. I'd just like to revise it a bit more. That's good to hear. Search by grammar rule. We're going to click on it. And again, if it loads, we can see, why isn't it loading? Once we get here, we can click on the little drop down again, and we can see all of the different grammar rules that, here we are, that are in the video. So here, let's look at adjectives, comparatives, let's search, and it's going to give us all of the videos that use this grammar rule. So this is really, really helpful as well for you to practice in a little bit more of a fun way, the different things that your coach has taught you as well. The last thing we'll go through quickly then are the skill boosters. So the skill boosters are really, really good if you have a specific reason that you're learning the language. For example, you want to go and work in the language, or you want to go and study in the language, you want to go and travel to the country where that language is spoken. Skill boosters are done by different skills, so communicating while traveling. Let's imagine you're learning French because you want to go and visit the vineyards in Bordeaux. I understand. I would definitely recommend it. We can go through and we can look at all of the different things that we can learn to do in the language. So, okay, so we get to Bordeaux, we need to go and find the vineyards. So let's work out how we can get the train to go and find them. So again, it's very similar. We click on the video and it's the same kind of activities you'll see. And here we have some little grammar, sort of sentence building as well. It's the same concept going through, using all of the different ways that we can learn the language and all of the different skills and different activities. So the idea really is a lot of like repetitive and iterative comprehension and language use. When I say repetitive and iterative, this means that we are seeing the same language again and again and again to really integrate it into our brains. And iterative meaning that it is gradually increasing in complexity of what we're being asked to do as well. So these really are two of the fundamental concepts when it comes to language learning that are really, really important. The other one as well is contextual language learning. So in the context of these little videos, especially for different movies, different films, things like that, it is really sort of three of the biggest pillars of language learning. So this is why we love Lingua Attack and why we think it is great and really, really important, a really good complement to your language learning. The last thing I want to talk to you about as well is that your coach can give you different activities and different assignments as well. So you'll see here I have I have my teacher's account, so I can go and look at my classes. Let's see, I have some students who have not all done their assignments, but never mind. So we can have a look at the assignments that I have suggested for my students. So your coach will suggest specific assignments for you, and then you can do the activities that they have suggested to you or not. I would suggest you do, but not every learner does. They don't all take our advice, but you know, we're here to do what we can. So you can go through, do some of the activities that your coach has suggested to you, and then your coach can also come and have a look at what you've done and see as well how they think that you have got on with it, see maybe where you struggled a little bit more, and then revisit anything else in class as well. So let me come back to my screen. How do I find everybody again? Oops. Okay. I couldn't find my way back to the screen. Okay, so we'll take it to questions. So does anybody have any questions that we'd like to start with? Let's have a look at what we had in the chat. Latifa can hear us. Excellent. Okay.
Well,
okay.
Since I missed all the beginning, is Lingua Attack for coaches or for students?
So Lingua Attack is a self-study platform that is for students to use, and then coaches will provide, will also have Lingua access to this to provide the exercises to their students. So to have a look at what they're doing, to give them special videos that we would recommend for them, for example. So as a student, it's something that you will use, maybe we would advise you to use it at least every week, something that you would use regularly in complement to your language learning. And for any coaches as well who do feel like they would like a little refresher on this, we also run little sessions for coaches, so you never hesitate to get in contact as well to discuss a little booster session on how we can best use this for clients as well. Does anyone have any other questions?
Hey Laura.
Yes.
I don't have, I think I need to speak to Esther about this, but I don't have a tab to toggle from English to French when for both languages. So is there someone that I can?
I'd ask Esther for that. She knows a little bit more technically how the platform works. So I'd ask Esther for that question.
Cool. All right.
Otherwise, in terms of students who are using it, do we have any questions in sort of what kind of activities you do? Was there anything I said that wasn't clear that you'd like more information on? I'll remind you that I am available as well to talk through anything with any of you. So for example, if you would like to have a one-on-one session and just go through a little bit more sort of some of the particular activities, if maybe you don't quite understand how they work or what you can do, then that's definitely something we can discuss. And also with your coach, you know, never hesitate to ask them for more advice and guidance on which videos you should be using as well.
So
yes?
is it only like two languages, I understand, like English, French, but can it be like English, Japanese or whatever?
Absolutely, yes. We have many different languages, yeah. So my one was just in English and French because I teach English to French students, so I don't have all the languages online because it's not useful for me. But yeah, depending on the language that you are learning, yeah, there are lots of different languages as well. Is there anyone who's using it already and who has found that they have any kind of little worries with it or little things they're not sure about? No,
I don't think I have an account. Or do we have an account already, all of us?
So students who use Lingua Attack as part of their program will be given access codes to use it. Yep. And as coaches, yep, you'll get accounts sorted out for all coaches as well. Yeah, you'll have an account.
So we'll have with Esther, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, let's maybe go through some of the other questions I get regularly is well, the first one I get is, where do I begin? That's something that I fully understand. So where do we begin? Like I said, if you are a beginner, you should begin with the starter labs, work your way through. Otherwise, if you know your level already, or you can ask your coach for your level, I would search through videos that are for your level. And really the idea is just to, language learning is supposed to be fun as well. That's why we need to go and look at the videos that are of interest to you. Maybe your coach has spent the lesson doing something that, that is very interesting to you and that is very useful for the language, but then next to it, you can go through and look at really subjects that are of personal interest to you. As I said, there are 2,000 videos, over 2,000 videos. There are so many videos to look through, and lots of different cultural things as well, and different films, things that are really, really interesting. Do we have any final questions? Nope. Okay, excellent. Maybe we can leave it at that. And if anyone does want to stay behind for a minute or two to ask a question privately as well, then that's no problem at all. As I said, if you are a student and you are interested in using Lingua Attack, then please don't hesitate to contact either me or your coach, and we can kind of get you running up with that and having a little look at how we can use it to benefit your language learning. But otherwise, thank you very much for attending. I hope this has been useful. As I said, please stay behind if you would like to ask any other questions, and otherwise, as I said at the beginning, my name is Laura, and I am more than happy to take some time out of my day to go through any questions that you might have as well. So thank you very much for attending. This has been recorded and it will be available online as well. So don't hesitate to watch it again or to share it with anyone else at the Academy, anyone else that is learning languages that you think might be interested in using the amazing Lingua Attack as well. Otherwise, thank you very much. And I look forward to speaking with everyone soon. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, this is Gillian. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
I'm so sorry I couldn't get on, but I would like to see it. But I don't know which password I'm supposed to use. I've got about 2 passwords, one for the site, which is the beginning when I joined you, and then Esther gave me another one for her lessons with me. So I really don't know what password to use.
Okay, so we have 2 different platforms. So we have the first platform is where you do your online lessons. So this is when you are face-to-face with your coach.
Yes, she gave me a very long, complicated password.
Well, you can save it so that you don't have to type it in every time. That might be the best idea. And then this, what we're talking about today is something called Lingua Attack. So this is for self-study. Yeah,
I'd like to do that.
You'd like to do that? Okay. Well, we did just finish the webinar, but that's not an issue. Maybe if no one I'd ask you just to stay on a minute. If no one has any other questions, I can maybe stop the recording so that we don't have to watch it a second time. And then Gillian, I'll stay with you for a second and we can go through everything else.
That's very kind of you, Laura. It's very kind of you.
No problem. I see we have someone called Walla who is still here. If you have any questions. Nope. Okay, Latifa, any final questions?
No.
Excellent. Okay. All right. See you soon. Bye. Okay. Bye. Okay, Jillian, I'll just stop the recording and then we can go through it together. Okay.
So how do I leave? Sorry.
I think so. If you just hang up.
I just hang up.
I think so. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Thank you.